Hello, this is the Part-Time Preppers coming to you once again. We did a top 10 list on the top 10 things to prep. Well, that's kind of hard to say. Say it 10 times fast. But anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I'm talking fast because the video is a little lengthy. So until the end of the video, take care and we'll talk then. Bye. Okay, the number one prepping item should come to a shock to almost no one is water. Yes, we can only go a few days, up to maybe a week without it. Start slow. Just get some bottled water. Date when it's going to expire. And I mean, we do drink a lot of water, and just in our normal day life, bring it to work, lunch. So after the initial investments, you just recycle it. It usually stays good for at least a year or two if you check the expiration dates. Also fill up your own jugs if you can. A little bit of Clorox is handy just in case you have to purify it. A water bob in case you have a heads up that something bad's on the horizon would be a good idea to invest in. Of course, your water heater is a source of water. And the hardest thing about water is storage. And you try to be creative here. I'll go on a little different part here. Now we have some more water. Date it, especially these gallon jugs that you're recycling. Of course, clean them out well, date them, and then after a few months, no more than 6 months, I would refill these jugs. That's not too hard to do. We feel we have about 30 days worth right now, but start slow. Start for a week or two. I mean, the rule of thumb is at least a gallon, if not a gallon and a half or two, of water per day per person. So number one on the top 10 list of prepping items, at least in my list, is water. Okay, number two on the top 10 list of items to prep is food. I did a video on this just like a month or two ago, and please, I'll put a link, check it out if you wish. So I want to be quick with this one. Basically, we just stockpiled a little food. About $5 to $10 to each order since last November. Wasn't really a financial burden. You date everything. You rotate it. Buy food you like. We have a couple extra bins, also of food. We've come to think we have about a 30-day supply. Start off simple, a couple of days supply, a week, a 2-week supply. You'd be surprised how fast it all adds up. In the one drawer there, we have some medical supplies and some extra batteries and such things like that. A few extra tools. Number two, food. Coming in at number three, we'll call it gas and fuel. I did a video on this in the summertime. I'll leave a link if you wish to check it out. But it's definitely a top 5 item. Obviously, you would need some extra fuel to operate generators and bug out vehicles if you needed to bug out. I've been in a situation where there's been long lines to either buy gas or there's been no gas in some emergency situations. So I highly recommend keeping some extra gas, obviously, in a well-ventilated area. I rotate mine out about every 3 months. As you can see by the tags, I simply just put it in the vehicles and fill them back up. I keep it a little separate from my grass cutter gas can and what have you, so I just have this little stockpile. I recommend about 20 gallons minimum, and my goal is hopefully get up to 30-40 gallons saved. I'm just looking for some cheap containers. Okay, that's it for number 3. Coming in at number 4 on the 10 things to prep list is, can you see it? It's lighting, because no one wants to be in the dark. Yes, what we have here is some basics. Candles. Reasonably priced. You can collect quite a few of them. There's decorative. We have our Christmas candle there, which will still be out until probably well after the New Year's. Now, if we had a power outage, I wouldn't have thought twice of lighting that very nice candle up. Flashlights. Multiple flashlights are important to have. I did not feel like taking all the batteries out, but obviously you want a good supply of batteries, at least multiples for each flashlight you have. I sort of like have an everyday use battery bin, and I have ones that I just keep in the packages and put away in a drawer for such emergencies. Lighting, you can see the propane light there. I'll pan up a little there. Have multiple pairs of, they call them socks there inside in case they're very easily damaged. I've had that particular light for at least 20 years. I did cheat a little bit in this one and put a heater in the back there, portable propane Coleman heater. That again is probably at least 20 years old, which has worked flawlessly. I will occasionally use that in the garage just to keep some warmth if I'm doing a little project in the winter months. And you'd be surprised how much in a small room, a small space, that would actually heat things up fairly decently in case of an outage. Although I do lack in that area as far as heat, and that's one of the things we'll be working on this winter. So, number 4, obviously you want to keep extra matches. We have a box of extra matches we keep, and obviously several extra lighters that are kept away for such an event. And we have been out electricity one time up to a week, other times up to 2-3 days. Is not unheard of, at least where we live. So, number 4 on the list, lights. Okay, making it in at number 5 on our 10 things to prep list, cold cash. There we have it. As far as the amount, that would vary on person to person. I'm not going to get into that. Everybody has different economic situations, so I'm just going to say have some cash on hand. Why? I could think of 3 right off the bat. You could have some sort of power grid shutdown. You can't get to your ATM. You could have a bank holiday. Something could happen, all of a sudden the banks are closed for a week. Any type of shit hit the fan scenario. I think there's several more reasons, if I took the time to think of, to have some cash on hand. As far as I don't feel safe. I mean, obviously the banks, I feel at this point, we're giving you next to nothing interest. You're really losing your money at this point just by putting it in the bank with inflation. Is just as much chance to rob you as someone breaking in and robbing you. Obviously, you don't keep all your eggs in one basket. As far as denominations, I would have several denominations, ranging from hundreds to even $10 bills. So, at number 5, and why is Homer there? I do not know. I think he's going to keep an eye on the money while I put the camera away. But coming in at number 5 is cash. Okay, making it at number 6 in our top 10 items to prep is, we're going to call it a means to defend yourself. We're going to do this with the budget-minded in mind. So here we go. Top there, you'll see the Mosin Nagant, famous Russian rifle, a surplus. Got it back in 2001, 2002, $69. You can easily get them today, $89, $99. Stevens shotgun, 12 gauge, came with 2 barrels, hunting and a self-defense barrel, which is on it now. $169 2 Black Fridays ago. I've seen similar deals for $189 with ammo. So that has stayed around the same price. Revolver. That particular revolver is, I like it a lot shooting it, but it's kind of an oddball. 32 Magnum revolver. Got it for a tad over $200 at an auction. You'll see my everyday carry there, which unfortunately I've come to the conclusion that it's needed in this day and age. And of course everyone has to make up their own mind. But we have that there. I wouldn't call that a budget firearm, however. If someone is highly against firearms, you have other options. However, I don't think they're quite as good, but you can become proficient with knives. There's always mace. And something oddball there, you'll see that's like a sword cane that my father actually used to carry years ago. He'd walk the boardwalk in Atlantic City with it. The end of the cane, I should say, is extremely sharp. and you really wouldn't want to get stuck by it. And it could be, he actually used to use it to help him walk. He needed a cane, but also in case any dogs ever came up to attack or anything like that. Unfortunately, he passed away. But strongly recommend that you at least think about firearms. Obviously, if you do decide on it, you would have to train at least monthly on a firearm to get used to it. And if you needed instruction, then you'd have to get instruction from someone that was proficient in firearms, obviously. So there you have it. Number 6, I went way over my allotted minute. A means of self-defense. Okay, coming in at lucky number 7 in our top 10 things to prep list. Might be a little different, maybe a little controversial, but it's stacking silver and gold. This is sort of like our financial insurance, let's say. We try to put really about 20-25% of our worth, we're trying to, into these metals. We feel they're very undervalued, especially now in these economic times that are very unpredictable. To us, it's a no-brainer. I might get a lot of arguments on it. People still want to invest in the stock market, which it seems very overvalued, or Bitcoin, which to me, I just haven't done enough research on it. And again, you're still relying on somebody else. If there's a grid down, I don't know how Bitcoin's going to help you then. But this is one, if you hold it, you own it. You've heard this a million times. And obviously, if you watched our videos, you've seen a lot of stacking going on. So this is it. This is number 7. And again, everybody's economics are different. You may only be able to afford 2 silver dimes a week to purchase at a local coin shop. But we strongly suggest that everyone start doing it. Even if you can only save nickels. Because a nickel is really, the metal content in a nickel is just about worth a nickel now. And it's probably better than saving paper currency. To save $100 in nickels, to me, it would be better off having a $100 bill under your bed. So, once again, number 7 in the top 10, let's just say stacking. Making it in at number 8. Alternative power source, we'll call this. I believe everyone, especially if you live near places that had power outages before, should save up and invest in a generator. This one here was fairly costly, but I've seen them as cheap as $269, I think, at Cabela's. It's worthwhile. We've used it twice for short durations without power, but it comes in very handy. It's easy to upkeep, and it seems very reliable. At least this one does. Also, I'll slip in and do a 2 for an alternative way of cooking there. You'll see a Coleman stove we've had for about 15 years now. We've only used it about 6 times when we went camping, but it functions well. Obviously, you would have to store, at the moment I have maybe 12 bottles of propane, but they do suck them up pretty fast. So, number 8, alternative means of power. Screeching in at number 9. Bug out bags. Yes. I didn't do a video on these yet because they're only about 90-95% complete. Obviously, there's tons and tons of videos on YouTube about bug out bags and what's in them, what you should put in them. But we're just addressing that for the top 10 list, they should be on it. The weight right now, obviously you have to watch the weight. The black one is mine. It's 21.7 pounds. I just weighed them actually. And the hand models there is 12.8 pounds. Why should it be in the top 10? Well, as a child, I was in a flood. I can remember we had about 5 to 6 hours notice, and that was it before our house was inundated. Grant you, that's a decent amount of time to get some stuff together. However, let's say you live near a nuclear power plant and something goes on there, you may only have 5 or 6 minutes to bug out. And really, I would say anywhere 40 miles or less from a nuclear power plant, these are definite must-haves. I'll just go over a drop because I want to keep this short, but what's in them, clothing, it doesn't have to be shit hit the fan type stuff, but we do keep our medications. Now, we're not on very many meds. Actually, I'm just on one and the hand model's on two, but we keep our extra meds in here. Now, the medications could have been a whole category of its own, and medical supplies. We, of course, have the medicine cabinet with the alcohol and the Band-Aids in it at home, but the larger dressings, the ACEs, are all kept in the bug-out bags. Even some slings and ice packs. So obviously, if you need such an item, just pull them out of your bug-out bag, leave a note to replace it. So, at number 9, the bug-out bags. And coming in, I will reveal to you now what is 10th on the top 10 things to prep list. And here it is. There it is. There's a little kind of a face there in that question mark. Basically, number 10, we're leaving number 10 up to you guys. We are the part-time preppers, not the full-time preppers. So, let us know if you think we missed something important. I can think of maybe 3 or 4 things myself. I'm second-guessing myself, and so is the hand model, on what things could have made the list. Maybe next year we'll do a top 20. So until then, feel free to like, subscribe, comment. If you really think we missed the mark, give us a thumbs down. Okay, until next time, take care and a Happy New Year's from the Part-Time Preppers.